Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 16th, 2019. I recorded a podcast earlier with my buddy, Jeff Magliacetti. We talked about the WNBA season, the Jets firing of Mike McCagnon, and did some hot topics around the sports world. But this is my regular podcast. Going to go over the NBA draft lottery, last night's game on the Western Conference Finals between the Warriors and the Blazers. Go over last night's Game 3 between the Hurricanes and the Bruins in the Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Final. Go over yesterday's baseball games like I had today's games and my best bet of the day. Alright, we're obviously going to start with the draft lottery, and we had the surprise winner of the New Orleans Pelicans, who are in all likelihood going to take Zion Williamson as their number one overall pick. And this is so lucky for them. They had a 6% chance of landing Zion. They get him. This could or could not change Anthony Davis's mind. Most reports out there saying that this doesn't change Davis's mind about a trade. Landing at number 2 is the Memphis Grizzlies. They're a team that is in a rebuild. This only bolsters them. That gives them a franchise player in perhaps Ja Morant. And Morant is somebody that I really like, and a lot of people are skeptical of him because of the fact that he played in the OVC. The Knicks are picking third. A lot of people are linking them to RJ Barrett, who I think is the third best player in the draft. He was obviously the preseason number 1 recruit, but he was outshined by Zion in college, and that's unfortunate for Barrett, but Barrett I still think could be a good player in the NBA. He reminds me a little of James Harden, but all the rumors are is that the Knicks really, really want to try to trade for Anthony Davis, and I think that would be a wise move, because let's say you get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and then you could trade for the third star. You use RJ Barrett, let's assume that's who the pick is going to be, Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, and Dennis Smith Jr., and maybe one of those picks you got from Dallas in the Kristaps Porzingis trade, and give that to New Orleans, and you have Anthony Davis, and all of a sudden you have a monster big three in Durant, Irving, and Davis, which would probably put them with Milwaukee as the teams to beat in the Eastern Conference going forward, and let's assume that Milwaukee re-signs Chris Middleton. So, to me, the Knicks, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans are all winners, although everyone's saying that the Knicks are losers because the Lakers went to 4 and they dropped from 1 to 3. But I disagree with that notion, because I still think the Knicks have the advantage over the Lakers in the Anthony Davis sweepstakes, only because there seems like a drop-off after the top 3 prospects in the draft, and that pick means everything. And the Lakers, to me, are a big winner because they move up to 4, they got some help from the basketball gods. Maybe they trade that pick for another establisher, whether that's Davis or Bradley Beal or somebody like that. And if they keep the pick, maybe it's like a DeAndre Hunter or Jarrett Culver or Cam Reddish. So I think yesterday was a good day for the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. And then the rest of the lottery, I think the 3 biggest losers were the Cleveland Cavaliers, who dropped the 5, the Atlanta Hawks, the Phoenix Suns, who dropped the 6, and the Chicago Bulls, talk about bad karma, dropped the 7. I think the Bulls, to me, were the biggest karma losers because the draft lottery was held in Chicago in a year where the Bulls had a good chance to get the top pick, good according to the percentages, and they drop all the way to 7. That's a disaster for that team, in my opinion. And the Hawks have picks 8 and 10, 10 being the result of the trade with the Mavericks last year, as the Mavs moved up to get Luka Doncic. I still think that trade's going to be a mega win for Dallas, because I just think Luka Doncic is special. And the Hawks themselves have the 8th pick, and then the 9th pick is going to be made by the Washington Wizards, and that's the other team that was a big loser in my mind, because they were slated 6th, but they dropped all the way to 9th in result of those other teams moving up to the top 3, in the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. I should say the top 2. Lakers were supposed to be 11. So the Wizards dropped the 9, so they're in a not so great position, unless if the Anthony Davis sweepstake losers possibly would pull off a deal for Bradley Beal, which would be the Lakers or the Knicks or somebody like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on there. As I mentioned, the Hawks get the 10th pick as well as the 8th pick in the result of the Luka Doncic-Trae Young trade. I already talked about that. 11's Minnesota. They were supposed to be 10, but the Lakers moved up. So Minnesota's picking 11th, and they are a team, obviously. Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. They just need to put pieces around there. They don't have a head coach in place yet, so that's a messy situation there. 12th, Charlotte. They're probably going to lose Kemba Walker. They need a good player there. 13's Miami. They're an interesting team. They're a team, to me, that is just flat out stuck in the middle of nowhere. That's where you can't be in sports. You either go for it all or you're rebuilding. Maybe they're a team that's a secret candidate to sign Jimmy Butler and we don't know about it. So you never know with them. And then the Boston Celtics at 14. Maybe that's a trade asset for them if they want to get in on Anthony Davis, or if they lose out on Kyrie Irving, maybe they trade that for an available point guard. Maybe Drew Holiday's available from the Pelicans or something like that. So you never know. Or maybe they just rebuild around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and keep the pick. So you never know with them. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Now we're going to talk about the conference finals from last night. We're going to start in the NBA. The Warriors blew away in the fourth quarter and ultimately winning the game by a score of 116-94. The game was closer than the score indicated in my mind. Portland did their best hanging in there, but Stephen Curry was the star of this game. 36 points, 9 3-pointers, 7 assists, and 6 boards. Klay Thompson had 26 with 3 3-pointers. Draymond Green had 12 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists. And their bench didn't even do anything, and they still won. This is all Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. They won this game by themselves. Meanwhile, for Portland, Damian Lillard, not a good game. 4 for 12 shooting, 19 points. Enes Kanter had 10 and 16 boards. Mo Harkless had 17. CJ McCollum had 17. Off the bench, Rodney Hood had 17. So, that said, I still think the Blazers have a chance to make this interesting. So, not the end of the world for them. Tonight, 8:30, TNT Raptors Bucks, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Milwaukee is a 6.5-point favorite at home. I love the Bucks, and I love the way they've been playing. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think, has been the best player in the Eastern Conference playoffs, although Kawhi Leonard has been an absolute monster and has been clutch for the Raptors. This is going to be a great series, I think, and I just think that the Bucks, behind their home crowd, they have Malcolm Brogdon back. I'm going to say the Bucks win this game by a score of 120-112. So I'm going to say that the Bucks barely cover the spread. All right, now we'll switch over to the NHL, where Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals happened last night. Bruins over the Hurricanes, 2-1 to take a 3-0 series lead. This is so good for the Bruins. They are in complete control here. No goals were scored in the first period, but in the second period, Chris Wagner scored for the Bruins, his second of the postseason. We're up the Bruins. Brad Marchand, 6th of the postseason on the power play, 2-0 Bruins. Calvin DeHaan's first of the postseason, 2-1. Your final. Tuukka Rask was the star of the game, 35 saves on 36 shots. Chris Wagner was number 2 star of the game with a goal. Number 3 star of the game with a goal, Calvin DeHaan. Tonight is Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals between the Sharks and the Blues. 8 o'clock, NBCSN, Kenny Albert, Mike Milbury, Pierre Maguire on the call. This should be a fun game in St. Louis. I think that crowd is going to be ruckus in St. Louis. Jordan Binghamton plays better at home than he does on the road. Although he struggled a little bit in the Dallas series at home, but I just like the Blues in their home building, and I like them to take a 2-1 series lead tonight. I think it's going to be a great game. This is a game I think is going to go to overtime. So give me 4-3 Blues in overtime to take Game 3. Now move on to baseball real quick. I'm going to do scores from yesterday. Look ahead to tonight's slate. Indians over the White Sox 9-0. Good win for the Indians over a White Sox team that's a little frisky. They're 22-19. Chicago's 19-22. Carlos Carrasco to win 4-3. Manny Banuelos 2-3. Cubs over the Reds 3-1. Good job by the Cubs. They're 25-14. They have been red hot. Cincinnati's 18-24. Kyle Hendricks the win. Tanner Roark the loss. Steve Chizik the save. Mets over the Nats 6-2. A huge win for the New York Mets. They're 20-20. Washington 16-25. Noah Syndergaard the win. Jeremy Hellickson the loss. Brewers over the Phillies 6-1. The story of this game, Keston Hiura made his big league debut. The Brewers' top prospect. I'm going to continue to do the top prospect specials. I'm going to start doing them again tomorrow and throughout the weekend because I took a little break from that since the NBA lottery and stuff was going on, but I'll continue to do that. We'll talk about Hiura on the podcast when I get to the Brewers, who are now 25-19 on the year. Phillies 24-17. Brandon Woodruff the win, he's 6-1. Jared Eichhoff the loss, he's 2-2. Rockies over the Red Sox 5-4 in 11 innings. Colorado is 20-21. Boston's 22-20. The winning pitcher for the Rockies, Mike Dunn. Ryan Brazier to loss. Wade Davis gets his 7th save of the season. Astros over the Tigers 11-4. The Astros are just so good. They're 28-15. Detroit's 18-22. Wade Miley the win. Ryan Carpenter the loss. Rays over the Marlins 4-0. Tampa's 25-15. Marlins are 10-30. Charlie Morton the win. Caleb Smith the loss. Cardinals over the Braves 14-3. A great win for St. Louis. Much needed win. 23-19. Atlanta's 21-21. Jack Flaherty to win. Mike Foltynewicz the loss. Twins over the Angels 4-3. Twins are 26-15. Angels are 20-22. Kyle Gibson the win. Ken Bedrosian the loss. Blaine Parker the save. Royals over the Rangers 11-5. The Royals 15-27. Texas is 17-22. Danny Duffy to win. Shelby Miller the loss. Pirates over the Diamondbacks 6-2. Pittsburgh's 21-18. Arizona's 23-20. Joe Musgrove the win. Luke Weaver the loss. Blue Jays over the Giants 7-3. Toronto 17-24. San Francisco 17-24. Trent Thornton the win. Nick Vincent the loss. Vlad Guerrero Jr. had his first 2 big league homers in this game. Dodgers over the Padres 6-3. The Dodgers are 28-16. The Padres are 22-20. Clayton Kershaw the win. Chris Paddock the loss. Kenley Jansen gets his 13th save of the season. Mariners over the Athletics 4-3. Seattle's 22-23. Oakland's 19-25. Mike Leake the win. Brett Anderson the loss. And Robbie Elias gets his 5th save of the season. Yankees-Orioles was postponed. Makeup date August 12th. That will be a day-night doubleheader. Today's games going on right now. Angels and the Twins. Game 1 of a doubleheader between the Orioles and the Yanks. Pirates, Diamondbacks, and Blue Jays, Giants. Other games that are being played tonight. Game 2 of the doubleheader at 6:30 between the Orioles and the Yankees. Right now, Yankees have a 5-3 lead. Domingo Germán and Andrew Cashner on the bumps. Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds, Yu Darvish and Sonny Gray. Mets Nationals at 7. Wilmer Font and Patrick Corbin. Brewers Phillies. Gio Gonzalez and Jake Arrieta. Rockies Red Sox, Germán Marquez and Eduardo Rodriguez. Astros Tigers. Justin Verlander and Gregory Soto. Starting for Detroit at 7:20 on ESPN, you have the Cardinals and the Braves. Michael Wacha and Mike Soroka. Give me the Braves at home. I just think that Soroka's been sensational, especially in their home ballpark. So give me the Braves there. You have the Rays and the Marlins. Ryan Stanek is your opener against Jose Arena. 8 o'clock, Rangers, Royals. Mike Minor and Jorge Lopez. And last but not least, Padres, Dodgers. Matt Strom and Kenta Maeda. Now, I'm going to do my best bet of the day. Brought to you by DraftKings. I did it differently today. So, listen to this. The Yankees in the second game of their doubleheader. The over in the Cubs-Reds game. The over in the Rockies-Red Sox game. the Astros on the money line and the Rays on the money line. Plus 872. Wagered very little. I'd say 17 cents. Because I wanted to make this a small wager today. $1.65 is the payout. That's it for today. I'll be back later tonight with my buddy Derek as we talk about the draft lottery, the conference finals in both the NBA and the NHL. We'll talk about the Jets firing of Mike Maccagnan more in depth. And we'll also talk some baseball as well. And it's on tomorrow's podcast. I'll get into more about my own feelings about the Maccagnan firing and what it means for the Jets going forward. The NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs, baseball. You'll have it all tomorrow on my podcast. And I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.